Uh, Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Um, I'm Prince Kuiper from the Zimbabwe Farmers Union. Zimbabwe Farmers Union is a farmer organization in Zimbabwe, focusing on all the sectors, but mainly on smallholder farmers. And it's a national organization, meaning that we have structures that are coming right from the grassroots up to representation at national level. I'll take you through a case study, farmer-led scaling up of conservation agriculture, which is a project that we implemented in Zimbabwe, implemented by us, the Zimbabwe Farmers Union. And it is quite a good case to demonstrate adaptation, which is farmer-led, meaning that we actually just the approach was to do demonstration plots and let the farmers learn experientially, and then uh, they decide whether they want it or not, and then we then see and measure how many have adopted and why, and then so that there is no coercion at all. It's actually the farmer's decision. So moving to the next, so this is how the presentation is structured. We'll start with an introduction, a very brief one, on Zimbabwe, how the climate change has impacted Zimbabwe, especially in terms of agroecological zones. And then I'll just present the case study, farmer-led scaling up of conservation agriculture. That picture there, you'll see that we have got the parents, older people, but you see that we also have school children. In Zimbabwe Farmers Union, we have what we call young farmers clubs, which start at a very early age at school and secondary school, primary school, and even youth in the community. So that's why. And this project was actually hosted or championed by these young ones, the young farmers clubs hosting demonstration plots, but with being assisted by the parents in the community, so that both the youths, the young ones, and the older farmers from the community were benefiting from this approach. So I've got two maps there. Which are illustrating the impact of climate change in Zimbabwe. So in Zimbabwe, we have, that's the map of Zimbabwe, and it is divided into agroecological regions, as you see on the legend there. Region 1 being the green, region 2 being the lighter green, and then region 3, the lighter, would you call it brown, and then the next lighter, which is region 4, and then the dark brown being the region 5. So on those two maps, one of them is the climate change is actually impacted by changing the map in terms of the sizes of the natural regions. So we have got two maps, one at the right and one at the left. And so one is the old map that was drawn in the 1960s. And the other one is a recent map, a 2020 map, showing the impact of climate change in terms of, you can see that the shades in terms of distribution and area have changed. Which do you think is the older map, and which do you think is the recent 2020 map? one on the left and the one on the right. So you can give your answer on the poll, and we give a few minutes for you to do that. Yes, now the results are up, which shows the updated agroecological map right. So we are all right. Most of us said right, and I think that's true. And you can actually decipher for yourself why. You can see that the brown area is this where there was no brown area. You see some brown areas, which is the region 5, um, which is less rainfall and also less higher temperatures. And you can see that even region 2, the lighter green, is being shrunk, and much of the area is also being taken by region 3, and so on. So the majority is right, that this is the recent map, and you can see how profound that is, because the farmers who had adapted to the old map all of a sudden see that it is no longer the case if they were growing drought-resistant crops, or even not growing at all because of no rainfall, or they were doing a bit of some livestock. Now it is no longer possible because they have moved from region 4 to region 5, and again from region 3, from region 2 to region 3. So I think that is quite impactful in terms of just illustrating how Zimbabwe has been affected by climate change. Um, so we move on right to the case study, which I've already explained, farmer-led scaling up of conservation agriculture. I've already explained also why farmer-led. So conservation agriculture, I think we are all familiar, most of us, but it is a technique that uses 3 principles, which is minimum disturbance of the soil, mulching, and then crop rotation. So this is the technique that we used to do this project. Okay. So the objective was the promotion of adoption of conservation agriculture by smallholder farmers through farmer-managed demonstration plots. I've already explained that we were using demonstration plots as a tool to let the farmers experience what it is first before we expect them to adopt. So we were working with the 100 school-based young farmers clubs who established demo plots, and we also had some demo plots in the communities, but primarily we wanted to involve young farmers even in the school, using also the school agricultural teacher and the agricultural extension officers, and then each demonstration plotted 80 farmers each, so that we had around 8,000 farmers organized into conservation agriculture clubs. And also there was high level stakeholder involvement to improve access to inputs. So we had seed suppliers and fertilizer companies, and all stakeholders that are providing services to farmers to ensure sustainability of the intervention. So you see, in other projects, the project will come with the seed, will come with the fertilizer, and so on. But we didn't do that. We wanted to maintain what the farmers were doing in terms of procuring access to seed and so on, using their own resources. That's why we maintained farmer-led. Then we also assisted the farmers with the equipment because we promoted also improved conservation agriculture equipment, which they used at demo plots. but also they could borrow those ones to use in their plots in the community. And we established that a community an equipment ring from which farmers could come and borrow and then return. And so we did a baseline and established that before the intervention, the average yield of maize was 1 ton per hectare. And practice of CA only by beneficiaries of free inputs by donor humanitarian assistance. So those who were practicing were doing it because there were donors who were coming to say, if you want to practice to join this technique, then we will give you free seed, sort of for a carrot. But we didn't do that. Drudgery also is hard work to dig holes using the basic hand tool for land prep and planting. Also, there was virtually zero usage of herbicide technology to control weeds, and then also lack of appreciation of the advantages of conservation agriculture by these smallholder farmers. So the model is illustrated there. At the center there, we've got the school demo plot, but surrounding that school, the community would form farmer groups. And we had 80 of these farmers per demonstration plot. And then we also were working with 25 schools in 2 provinces. And then these farmers would also have platforms where to discuss and learn, which we called farmer forums. And then we linked the markets through an SMS information system. So that's just a picture showing the young farmers at a demonstration plot, their teacher and agri-tech officer. So we targeted all lead farmers to participate, and also others who were participating were the actual teachers, extension officers, and everything was field-based. And then we explained what CA is and why adopt conservation agriculture. And then we also brought in CA principles and also mechanized conservation agriculture, not just using the basic hand hoe. And then we trained them so that we improved competency in using the equipment. And then there was also good to agriculture practices training, which from land preparation to harvesting, and all the principles of conservation agriculture. And then there was a specific demo plot layout. So there is the pictures, all the pictures that I've included are just illustrating the demo plots that we had in the field. So we established demo plots, and the key principles were demonstrated. That was the size, 0.5 hectares per demo plot. And we were using maize legume pure stems so that to promote rotation. And because we're working with schools, we infused their field days just to bring a bit of sub-competition. And we would also have field days, awards during the field day. And also we facilitated exchange visit between the 2 provinces so that those who there was cross learning and exchange tours in the project. Okay. So there we see this is one of the field days, and these are 2 young farmers in school uniform. The one with in the middle there with what with that flower one in the pocket is the Minister of Education. And then we've got the chief there and also the school head. This was the high table that was now touring the demo plots. And this is a young farmer who is explaining how they went about, and the result in terms of the crop there that you can see. This is another field day at a school. This is the legume stand. This is cowpeas. And these young ones with the t-shirts explaining how they went about putting together the demo plot and also what they learned. And these are the results of that demo plot. Like I said, there were also awards that we gave because we would then assess the demo plots around the schools, and then the winning school or in various categories would to get awards. And this is one of the schools that won that term, and they are pushing their awards. So what were the achievements? High levels of appreciation of conservation agriculture principles by smallholder farmers. High quality demos, exceptional crop stands were established. Vibrant, passionate, proud conservation agriculture groups and young farmers clubs. Intense farmer-to-farmer learning and exchange. Active participation of women, highly motivated in mechanized conservation agriculture. Close interaction between school, young farmers clubs, and communities. Normally, you see the school is doing its own thing, and the communities just take the school as an institution that is just benefiting the school children, but now the school is also benefiting the community. Early uptake of conservation agriculture. At the end of the project, that was 3 years, 2,000 hectares had been adopted by the farmers, which means they voluntarily allocated their pieces of land to conservation agriculture because they were now appreciating the advantages of conservation agriculture after learning it from the demonstration plots. And strong partnership with agribusiness were also built. And then there was efficient use of inputs, and most importantly, improved yields. I remember the baseline we established that the average yield was 1 ton per hectare. And then at the end term evaluation, we established that the yield had increased from 3 to 4 tons per hectare, from 1 to 3 to 4 tons per hectare in the project. So, what do you think could have been the main challenges? The main or the major or the most challenging aspect: high cost of inputs, a lack of necessary investments, lack of scale up to other regions, or lack of system to build onto. Okay, high cost of inputs. Yes, we also had in fact, it is a big challenge in Zimbabwe that the costs are the input cost is very high. Then the lack of necessary investment, we talked of, most of the time, the farmers are constrained financially. And then lack of scaling up to other regions. Yes, that is also a challenge. Um, uh, Normally in project mode, most of the time, when the financing ends, that's when also the project also ends. But most of the time, this is because the financing from the project cease, and therefore farmers will not continue with the project. But we tried by all means to, like I have said, to ensure that farmers are adopting, not because they are expecting a reward in terms of external reward, but but intrinsic satisfaction that this works. That's why they adopted. And therefore, in terms of sustainability, this was quite a good approach. And this is also being supported by yourselves. 10 out of 16 are saying lack of scaling up to other regions is one of the big problems. And lack of systems to build onto, 3 out of 16 are also saying that. Yes, so this is what came out, which we have just discussed, high cost of inputs, especially the seed and fertilizer and herbicides, and then lack of adequate resources. Then we also included drip kits, which I have not covered, but also to scale up the project to other regions, you would need resources beyond that is provided by the project. So lack of established effective extension system to build onto. Yes, so we have an extension system, but we feel that it can be, there's need to actually capacitate the extension workers further so that we can build onto them. We cannot, as Zimbabwe Farmers Union, have the same footprint as the extension officers, government extension officers. So the extension officers would need to take this up and own it and remain with it after most of the projects have ended. Okay, this is the end. The Young Farmers Clubs, they're very happy that they've won. These were winners in one of the years. This is quite interesting in that once you teach them young, they will always understand, they will appreciate it more than when you teach the older people, because they've got entrenched ways of doing things. It's more difficult to do that part. With the influence of the youths, we found that the older people were able to adapt and also to improve their yields. So this is the case for Zimbabwe. I will pause for questions. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present.